Hi there, guys. So I'm switching gears today to just replant some of my seedlings, and a lot of them. I mean, I'm actually all of them. I started from seeds, and so as you can see, we are growing quite well. We have several tomato plants and several pepper plants. We have some corn, some more pepper plants, and we have some squash over there, and some marigolds. So we're gonna be transplanting those over to the grow bags. Some of them are gonna be on the grow bags like this that I'm gonna be hanging, or like this where they have their companion plants. So this is a bell pepper plant with some marigolds. This is a tomato plant with some marigolds. And you know what? So far, like, all the plants have grown significantly since I put them on here. Actually, so these I had to cut all of the leaves off of this because the leaves have kind of frosted over, and then as you can see, we're already kind of starting to have some big stems. I might need to trim this guy eventually. Over here, our strawberries are starting to come out. So, I've been it's a greenhouse, right? So I've been having to sort of, pollinate them myself manually. But it's working out. What do we have here? This is zucchini, and this is yellow squash, and over there is some watermelon. So I think the next step for those is I need to top them off with some moss. That's just to keep the moisture in the soil. So that'll be the last thing I do today before I water everybody. But yeah, so hang out with me for a little bit. If you see me sort of make weird faces, I am also actively watching the Champions League game between Arsenal and Olympique Lyon. And I'm amazed at how the Arsenal women's team is doing. This morning I watched the Barcelona-Chelsea one. It was an amazing game. Of course, my team is Barcelona. They won 8-2 on aggregate, so they're going to the final at the end of May. I think Olympique Lyon are always favorites in this competition. They're like the Real Madrid of the Women's Champions League. And they're getting their ass beat by Arsenal. So far, this tie is 3-0, 4-2 on aggregate. So I'm actually really enjoying it. I'm having a good day. It's a little warm in here. I have the evaporator going on. I do have to wear sort of long clothing. I had a tick bite, and I'm taking an antibiotic that can cause some photosensitivity. So word to the wise, when you're out, just wear some bug spray. Always check yourself for ticks. And then, yeah, so let's get to work. This project started more as an experiment, following the many lessons that I learned last season. Truth be told, last season was my first season. Up until then, I had lived in either a condo or an apartment, a dorm. Now, this was really the first time in my 41 years that I had a backyard. I had space to think. I had space to feel. I had space to explore and really try to figure out, who am I? What do I like? What do I want? What do I want? For me, my future. What do I want? Truth be told, working with my hands has healed parts of me I didn't even know were broken. Been able to reconnect. This tiny little version of myself that exists there has always been there. Quiet and too scared to speak up. Pretending to be someone she's not. So that people will just, I don't know, like her, love her, approve of her. So really this garden has just given me the opportunity to just give that little girl a voice again. Bring her back and make her feel like it's safe to show her face again. In this section of the video, you can see me sifting through these very, very tiny seedlings. Essentially what I did here was I took some mini bell peppers that I had bought at the store and I replanted the seeds. Now, the thing about that is that when they grow in bunches like that, it looks like it's just one very tiny plant, but no. When you're really looking at it, each tiny little stem is a plant. So at this point, I don't know how many pepper plants I have. There's a lot. But essentially what I'm doing, see, I'm just sifting through each little plant. And those roots are hella delicate, so you have to be very, very gentle with it. Now, in a lot of the grow bags, there are these side areas where you can grow plants from it. So part of what I'm doing here is filling those areas in whenever appropriate. What I'm doing on the other bags is cutting holes into them. Sometimes the holes were appropriate. Sometimes they were a little too big. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of messed up sometimes. Whenever I messed up, it's okay. Happy little accidents, like Bob Ross used to say. I ended up either adding other companion plants just to make sure that there was more bulk so that the roots could grow and the plants could actually stay, not fall whenever I water them. And I'm making it look so easy. This was not easy, guys. This actually took a lot of time. But I'm just there stabbing these bags. Putting some new plants in there. I'm not gonna lie, it feels nice to be able to bring life into this world again. For context, I'm a board certified OBGYN, but 2021 I suffered a, near fatal multiple sclerosis flare-up. Let's leave it at that for now. It took away a lot. The one that hurt the most was how well I could use my dominant right hand. As a surgeon and someone who deeply cares the work that she does and how she cares for people, I couldn't bear the thought of something going wrong. So I had to give up delivering babies. That was my favorite part of the job. It's been almost 4 years at this point. I don't even remember the last delivery that I did. I was so sick. I was just trying to get through my shifts. I wish I could remember and get to savor it, you know, the way a person who's planning a retirement does. So, stop bringing life into this world. And I miss it. So again, here's my garden, healing parts of myself, helping me smile again, helping me feel like, I don't know, have a purpose again. Helping me feel like I'm leaving a little part of me, a little footprint. So I had to switch to my phone because the GoPro died. But no harm, no foul. So actually I wanted to show you this. Coño. So I actually have 3 things that I'm gonna plant. Basically just recycling from stuff that I bought at the store. Let's see. Just make sure I get a good amount of soil in there, and also I'm gonna make sure that this filter's not blocking you guys' view. Nope. Alright, great. So alrighty. I'm gonna have to figure out where I'm gonna put all this stuff, but yeah, so like at some point you saw me bust out my little seed reservoir. Some of those I just bought online, and others I just kind of harvested from stuff that we bought and we had. So these two. So these 2 things are 2 such things that basically, well, 3 things that we're just either harvesting or we are recycling. So the first thing that we are going to recycle is some spring onions. So spring onions, you know, you cut them and you have the bulb left. You can actually just put them in water and they keep growing. But the pain in the ass about putting them in the water is having to change the water every day. As I was saying, The pain in the ass about putting them in water is that you really gotta clean the water every day. Otherwise, you tend to get root rot, and then nothing's gonna grow. And if it grows, it's probably really nasty. So, first things first. So you can do this with scallions. Actually did that with potatoes and onions in the front. Actually, in the store, they had a whole section of potatoes that had already and onions that had already started sprouting. So took advantage of that and bought a bunch of those. And any potatoes that we keep in the house for too long that end up sprouting, in spite of our best efforts, put it back in the ground. So that's number one. And then number two. So this is actually. Sorry, I'm having a lot of technical issues today. Anyway, so number two is an avocado seed. So you actually gotta peel it off, put it in water for a little bit, and then just peel off this shell. It's kind of like a nut. So sort of like the skin on the seed itself. Let's make a nice big old hole here, and in she goes. And then the third is a mango seed. So actually, when you get to the pit of the mango, the seed is inside the pit. So the pit is like fluffy and hairy. So you actually got to cut through that to get to the actual seed, and then peel off some of these layers. Looks like a kidney bean, and then in she goes. So obviously neither of these are going to be good to eat for a long time, but you're never going to be able to eat them if you don't start them. So, and then see, this is what the pit of the mango looks like, and so you gotta actually cut into it and open it, and the seed kind of hangs out in there. And I'm just using the peel and stuff like that to add to my compost pile. So yeah, that man, I've done a lot of stuff today with the plants. Last thing I need to do, you don't need to watch all this part, is putting the layer of the whatchamacallit, where are you? Right there, the peat moss, into it. And that is just to help keep moisture. So that's basically just going to go at the top, and it just kind of helps to keep moisture within the soil so that I don't have to water it incessantly. And so let me show you what the rest of this looks like. So today we did a lot. We transplanted several things. We transplanted a bunch of the little mini cucumbers into spaces that were already available. This is a bell pepper, so these are mini bell peppers. These poor babies. These were the seedlings for some. So we did that, and then we transplanted some of the squash that had already been growing on the other side. We transplanted the corn, and then let's see what we got here. Let's see, on the other side we have, so that's the calamondin. It's growing, doing its thing. And then here, this was more tomatoes. These were more tomatoes, I think. And then, see how that zucchini, it like grew from the time that I came in here. We got some cherry tomatoes transplanted over there. We got the Zamorano ones. Then we have some more, like a combination of different peppers. And there are some, oh man, what's the word? Word finding is hard sometimes, man. Marigolds. And so here we got some calamandan little flowers, so I'm gonna have to go look for other flowers that are already open and kind of pollinate them manually since we're in a greenhouse. My blackberry bush is doing quite well, I think. So you can see the strawberries are already growing. And so I had to manually pollinate those as well. I need to finish cutting some grass over here. So over here you can see the blueberries again. And so when they open up somewhat, then I gotta go in and start pollinating manually again. So we got some garlic going there, some shallots. This arugula just keeps flowering, so I'm gonna have to cut a lot of that. But look, this is my little rescue lettuce. I basically just kind of grabbed it from soil that was just being recycled, and they started growing out of nowhere. And look at that, I have a whole like lettuce field in here. This is some romaine, some red leaf. I have some thyme and some dill, and you know, kind of put them together just because some of these herbs keep bugs away. There's the red romaine. Yep, look at the Brussels. I need to trim those because they're flowering. And once they flower, the plant tends to stop growing, which is kind of what has now happened to this guy. So gotta come through with some scissors and start trimming this stuff. And then obviously I need to water them. They look a little wilty because I haven't watered them today. It was a little hot today. Parsnips are doing their thing. I don't think that the celery is gonna work out, so I'll probably have to take that out. But the red romaine looks great, and that Greek oregano has made a home for itself. Let's see over here. The sage is starting to take off, and the green romaine is doing its thing. Here we have our wildflower mix, and we have some sunflowers that started sprouting. The chives are trying to do their best. This is the second season I have my asparagus growing. I did have to trim them because it basically grew to the point that I didn't fit inside the greenhouse anymore. But asparagus takes a really long time to harvest and to get to the point of, you know, the nice asparagus you guys see in the store. Usually it takes like 3 years or something ridiculous like that. And then let's see. Yep, some more snapdragons. So the cucumbers that I had started, it looks like they're just not going to work out. So this pot's going to have to get emptied. And I think the same thing happened to my poor dwarf banana. I don't think that it was able to withstand the transplant stress. So I still have no clue what this plant is. I don't know, man. I feel like it's a banana. I mean, it looks like a banana to me, but I don't know. We'll see. Obviously, that needs to get transplanted at some point, but I'm tired. So I think the next task for today is going to be to water everything and clean up, finish cutting the grass. My little trimmer here, I had to recharge the battery, and then yeah, just gotta finish cutting the grass and get the leaf blower, get some other stuff away, and we shall be done for the day. So I guess I'll see you guys for the next update on the greenhouse and how the gardens are doing. Actually, let's go to the front real quick. Look at those babies. So my little rose bush there, and these already bloomed and they're drying out already. So, but yeah, so this was the front garden of Babylon that we were working on. You saw me doing that in another episode. And this guy's growing. I still don't know if it's corn or if it's wheat. It's something. But see those other little guys near it? Those are onions. And the smaller leaves over there, those are potatoes. And so these are from those sprouted potatoes and onions that I bought at the store. You can see they're pretty like sort of spaced out. And you know, usually on your countertops you don't want to keep your potatoes and your onions together because the onions will make the potatoes sprout quicker. You actually want to keep potatoes in a nice like dark and dry area. I don't know, guys. I feel like more and more this is looking like wheat to me, and I know that I planted some wheat seed. I just can't remember where I did. Oh no, Hagrid. Gotta fix Hagrid. But yeah, as you can see, there's more of these potatoes and more of these onions. They're all growing. It's a bunch of different types of potatoes. Potatoes are actually pretty easy to grow. And so, yeah. So that's the front. And big yard that I have to mow by myself. Oh lordy. Are you serious? I just mowed you this week and look at your freaking grasses already. Needing a trim. Over there is my little, it's my gnome tree. I love my gnome tree. But yeah, that's where we're at. So let's stay away from the bees. We don't want to get stung. Been there, done that. And so this is actually, I made that. I made the design and I burned the wood. And so hopefully in the next few months you're going to see a lot of squash hanging from those up there. And this really will be a bit of a pumpkin patch. So yep, stay tuned for updates. Thanks for watching, guys.